And we were very impressed and happy with the reaction of Nigerians. They went back to the farm. And we made sure our neighbor, especially Niger, understand us, because there are Nigerians that order food in Niger for Nigerian market. The Nigerian government cooperated with us. So really, we defended on ourselves, and Nigerians do not regret it. Corruption is very difficult under this system. Even under the military system, luckily I have experienced both occasions. When I collected people, put them in Kiriki or somewhere and said they are guilty until they can prove themselves innocent, and put investigation panels based almost on the geopolitical zone for people that held positions, governors, ministers, commissioners, heads of parastatals, because then people don't get that position until they declare their assets. Then they are faced with the bank statements and their assets. If they cannot explain, the balance is taken away from them. But what happened? Eventually, I myself was arrested, detained, and they were given back what they have looted. So that's why I wear Agbada and join and see what this partisan politics is all about. I will not change, but the system here, those who have the money, they can take sons, first-class lawyers. Cases will take 10 years. And doing things with immediate effect was not possible. But I assure you that in spite of the problem we are having with the system, whoever we have correct intelligence that is not being very accountable, we ease him out. We don't give it too much publicity. But I assure you that those who are responsible, who are holding responsible positions, know that we don't tolerate corruption.
Shekau is reported dead. Does that give an opportunity for us to zero in and consolidate and secure the Northeast?
The problem of the Northeast was very difficult. The governor, the present governor, is working very hard. He's taking a lot of risk. And I asked him, this Boko Haram, is it our people, is it Nigerians or people coming out? He said they are Nigerians, most of them. They are Nigerians. As I said, the only way we got them around was that you can't kill innocent people and said God is great. That worked very well, but I think we have a problem of unemployment. We have a problem of a lot of youth looking basically for what to eat, not even to talk of accommodation or dress. The level of poverty is almost unimaginable. So this is a problem. But those who are really keeping in touch with what we are doing, they know the difference between the time we came in and now. And the people of Northeast and South, I think, are the best judges for the performance of this administration, because they know what they were in and they know the condition now.
I was Katsina last year, at the height of the insecurity of these bandits. Like, insecurity has moved from the northeast to the northwest. People can no longer go to farm. How do you respond to some of these challenges, especially banditry in the northwest?
Well, I had series of meetings You know, the whole security apparatus was changed, as you know. All the service chiefs and the IGs went. The ones that succeeded them had been part of the system. So we had series of meetings with them, at least 3 meetings, each one lasted more than 2 hours. Firstly, I allowed them to go around, you know, and see the position on the ground. They made changes in their officers and commands and the men to be rebuilt. As you observe, people to go back to the land so that we wouldn't have food problem. And I think that is being done. We are giving it less publicity because we don't want to make them aware that we are taking them head on. But I think those who are in the field know they have been suffering a lot of casualties. And we stopped, for example, mining in Zamfara State. We expelled the foreigners, and we are talking to the government, although he is not in the federal government's party, but we want to secure Zamfara, Sokoto, and so on. And you mentioned Katsina and so on. But the important thing is the question of local security apparatus. We have police in every town. And I've been talking to the police, trying to push them as hard as I can. They don't wear uniform and sling their rifle just to intimidate people, but to make sure, if necessary, they use it to bring security. In the northeast, you know what was happening. In the south house, you know, I too was almost overwhelmed by what is happening in the northwest. But we are treating them as criminals now. They are experiencing a lot of casualties. They will not say it because they don't want to demoralize their recruitment constituencies. But they are suffering a lot of casualties. We know that.
Mr. President, still on the issue of security.
Yes.
Each zone you would have witnessed has sort of taken matters into their own hands with different kind of security apparatus, like the civilian JTF, Amotekun, and what have you. Has the time come to now formalize state police in Nigeria?
I have seen, or I have been reading it in the newspapers. Those of us who are old enough to know the old NA police and so on. That time, the traditional institutions leaders were very effective. In each community, you know, I will give you one example of recent. 2 governors from the southwest came to tell me that the cattle rearers in some of the forests there have killed farmers while their cattle were eating on their crops. So I told them, you campaigned to be elected, and you are elected. He said, yes. I said, go back and sort out yourself. Because there has been a system, as all of us here could recall, even your local government, when there are security at each level, at local government, at state, it consists the traditional leaders in that area who have been there for generations. So they know all the crooks in their local.
Mr. President, the 17 governors.
And those who come, whether they are cattle rearers or influential traders, they are part of it. They meet either they will have intelligence. They will know what is happening in their constituencies. They just can't go around and win election and then sit tight and think somebody will do their job for them. I just send them back.
Mr. President, the 17 governors in the southern part of the country recently called for restructuring. They also announced a ban on open grazing in the southern states. But despite that, the Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami SCN, said
okay, what I did was ask them to go and dig the Gazette of First Republic when people were obeying laws. There's cattle routes and grazing area. Cattle routes were you allow your cattle to stray into any farmer's farm, you are arrested. The farmer is invited to submit his claims. The alkali or the judge will say, oh, I pay. If you can't, the cattle is sold, and if there is any balance, you are given. And people are behaving themselves. And in the grazing areas, they built earth dams, put windmills, in some places even veterinary departments. There is known, if there is any problem from the locality is known. But I'm telling you, this rushing to the center, you know, people just, I think. So I asked for the gazettes, you know, to make sure that those who encroached on these cattle routes and grazing areas will be dispossessed, you know, and try to bring some order back into the cattle areas. The problem is trying to understand the culture of the cattle rearers. There is a cultural distance between the chiefs and the Fulanis. So the governor of Benue said, I'm not disciplining the cattle rearers because I'm one of them. I cannot refuse to say I'm not one of them, but he's been very unfair to me. And I told him that the Nigerian cattle rearer was not carrying anything more than a stick, sometimes with a machete, to cut some trees and give it to anymore. But those sophisticated ones, they are good with AK-47. So from all the Sahel areas, people rush to Nigeria. You know, and Fulani from Mauritania or from Central Africa look the same. So they think they are Nigerian ones. And I assure you that we are trying to resuscitate these cattle routes, grazing areas, and make them accountable. And then this cancelling of taxes. Ordinary people like it. But the problem of accountability, you know, when taxes are being paid, people are behaving themselves. But now without taxation, people are doing what they like.
Yes, that brings us to the question of power devolution. All these taxation things. This position now on devolution of powers.
Devolution of power, you have to define it.
It's the legislative list. Take some of the things to residual and keep a few.
Virtually, local governments are virtually killed. You know it.
Yes, sir.
The 3 tiers of government, federal, state, and local government, if they are being followed properly, we wouldn't have all these social problems. But the problem is the local government have been virtually killed. And that is not good for this country. It's not good for this country because those who became the local government chairman have been compromised. If your local government is, say, entitled or is supposed to receive 300 million, a letter will be prepared for you to sign that you have received 300 million and you are given only 100 million.
So how can we reduce the powers of governors and give more powers to local governments? By writing a new constitution.
And reduce the powers of the president too.
While we're at it.
The Supreme President has a lot of power. Okay, I think this question of accountability is very important. The schooling, especially education, is suffering so much. If, for example, our generation, I spent 9 years in boarding school. And the teachers then treat us as they treat their own children. If you do well, you are brought before the classroom and praised. If you misbehave, they remove your thing and plug you there in front of the class. So you just have to behave yourself. But now, one of the chaps from Ogun State, Pastor Bakari, he told me when he came back from America, he went to his alma mater, and he couldn't differentiate between the teachers and the children there. You see, the teachers allow them to go around and see the problem. They had all the time, but now they are in charge. And we made sure that their priorities is to make sure they have brought normalcy, people to accept the responsibility of their offices and perform. They are working very hard on that. We cannot give it enough publicity because we don't want to give fair warning to the real criminals. The ones from northeast, you know, the ones in the south, you know, the problem is northwest. The same people, same culture, killing each other. As I said, we are going to treat them in the language they will understand. We have given the police and the military power to be ruthless. And you watch it. In a few weeks' time, there will be difference. Because we told them that if we keep on, if we keep people away from their farms, we are going to starve. And the government cannot control the public. If you allow hunger, you know, to permeate the whole society, the government will be in trouble, and we don't want to be in trouble. We are already in enough trouble. So we want them.
Your Excellency, you talked about talking to the people of Northeast. Now, Your Excellency, you talked about talking to the people of Northeast. The language they understand. That is the whole, I mean, there's a crisis. IPOP and all that. One, the controversy of Twitter. When is the government going to lift ban on Twitter?
To lift the ban. They would have no access to anywhere. And the way they are spread all over the country, having businesses, having property, I think IPOP doesn't know what they are talking about. In any case, and we will do it.
What about Twitter?
Twitter, that I will give to myself. What?
Well, still on the Southeast, Mr. President, how do you plan to include more people from the Southeast, and indeed the South in general, to include more people in the Southeast, and indeed the South in general, in your government, especially in security services and MDAs?
You look at, say, NNPC, look at the military. People who have been there for 18 years, or people who have been there, say, for 10 years, they trained in Zaria or in Abeokuta. You know, they come, or in Abeokuta, served under all the circumstances, the crisis and everything, and they gradually rise to that status. And you think you just pick somebody just to balance up? These positions have to be earned. Those positions have to be earned. There are people who have been there for 10, 15 years, and you just because you somebody will say, well, there's nobody. If you don't join, you are not forced to join. But when you join, you go through the rigmarole. You go through the problem throughout, and you learn by the system.
Yeah, but Your Excellency, in the case of the chief of army staff, there are almost 30 generals who have to be retired now or whatever.
Leave the security services. I believe one of the things we're talking about is signaling and of belonging. Beyond security. Beyond security. Southeast, they want to be secretary to government. They want to be other things. like you said, you've chosen 2 or 3 of them, like Okadigo as VP, against them. So why don't you, as father of all, bring them more together, make them feel belonging against them. So why don't you, as father of all, bring them more together, make them feel belonging, make them feel like a children.
Our civil servant, if you I get a list of our civil servant. If you think there are no can continue. And that is the best thing politically for the country and for the party.
So it's not as if, but to have a lot of that, people believe that once you join
in APC to move power from north and south.
but what part? That your group is just
Should we allow the party to decide? I have just told you, no, you are very, very... And I gave... fair to us.
Now,
and they are going to give me this report by the end of the month on the convention we are going to conduct, and then arrange the general elections, you know, up to 2003, all the elections. And we will start this from bottom upward, so that members of the party will feel they are involved in decision making. Nobody is just sitting here in Lagos and asking them what to do.